For art to really make a difference, we need to engage with it actively. Sometimes it requires the artist, as well as the viewer, audience, or listener to bring their energy, attention, and openness to the experience. Let's break down what that means and why it's so important. As an artist, you're not just creating something to be looked at, you're offering an invitation. You want people to feel, to think, to act. It's about putting your emotions, ideas, and beliefs into a form that others can interact with. This requires more than technical skill. It's about intentionality. What is your art trying to say? How can you make it resonate with someone else? But here's the nuance. The clearer your intent, the stronger the connection. Yet at the same time, your art shouldn't feel like it's giving all the answers. People need room to bring their own experiences and interpretations into the mix. So there's a balance. You offer something powerful, but you don't lock people into just one way of seeing it. For example, think of Barbara Kruger's Your Body is a Battleground. It's bold, direct, and makes a clear statement about feminism and body politics. But it also leaves enough space for viewers to reflect on their own ideas about autonomy and societal pressures. The piece invites everyone to engage with it in their own personal way without diluting the core message. Now let's talk about the other side of this conversation, the audience. It's easy to walk past a painting or scroll through a video, but for art to really hit home, the audience needs to engage actively. This means not just seeing, but feeling, thinking, and connecting. Imagine standing in front of a piece like the iconic image of the NSARS protests. You could just see it as an image taken during the protest, or you could really dive in, imagine their courage, and let that emotion sit with you. When we engage at this level, art does something more than just impress us, it changes us. The question is, how do you get your audience to engage at this level? Making your work inviting enough that people want to engage might be one of the challenging parts of the process. But it is important not to be tempted to be too blunt, thinking that's the way to make sure the message gets across, as that can shut down dialogue. People might feel like they're being lectured at instead of being invited into a conversation. On the other hand, if the message is too hidden or abstract, it can fly right over people's heads. The key is finding a balance where your work is thought-provoking but still accessible. Judy Chicago's The Dinner Party does this well. It's a celebration of women's achievements, but it doesn't just tell you that. It shows it through symbolism, historical references, and a striking visual layout that pulls people in. The deeper you engage, the more you uncover. Let's dive into philosophy very quickly. Herbert Marcuse, in his book The Aesthetic Dimension, talks about how art creates a sense of distance from our everyday lives, helping us see the world in new and critical ways. This distance allows us to think differently and imagine changes that can lead to a better society. Imagine you're having a stressful day. You are juggling homework, worrying about when to wake up to finish a project, and trying to keep up with many deadlines. Suddenly, you hear Fowls's This Is Nigeria playing. This is not a calming song that might soothe your worries. This Is Nigeria hits you with powerful lyrics about corruption, violence, and inequality in society. The song makes you stop and think about bigger issues affecting your community and the country. This sort of feeling of stepping back and viewing the world differently is what Marcuse means by art creating a sense of distance. I want to make it clear what this distance is because it is important. Sometimes, we might think of art as something confined to museums or galleries, separate from our daily lives. But that's not the case. Art surrounds us in the streets, in our music, in the stories we share, while we are scrolling through social media platforms. This engagement helps us break free from our usual ways of thinking, encouraging us to imagine and work towards a better future. Going back to Victor Odiba's photograph, there is a chance that you might have seen the image the first time and just swipe by. But because of the power of social media and resharing, you engage more with the picture after seeing it on your timeline a few more times. Repeated exposure could force engagement and active participation. So, know that inviting engagement can come in multiple ways.